Welcome, OCRL fans, to the OCRL Countdown to Green. I am your host, Austin Painter. Alongside me is the Iceman, Steve Anders, and team owner of King Crossover Motorsports, Scott Akers. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Hello.
And we are here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the next stop for the OCRL Nationwide Series, and we're bringing our new COTs to the track for the first time. How do you guys, what's your guys' take on this?
I think that's going to be pretty good. I mean, the old cars are pretty fast here and pretty dynamic. With these being big and boxier, there should be some real good racing. They should put a big hole in the air so drafting will come into effect. What about you, Scott?
Well, yeah, Stevie, I think, the new cars on this track, it's going to produce some really good racing. The cars are going to be a little faster, so hopefully we'll see some faster times, and, we all just get used to the new car and the couple practices we have.
Yeah, I think definitely the the new cars have brought a lot of good racing and a lot of different winners. We've only had one repeat winner or two repeats winner this season. Sorry, and I mean I think now that we're 5 races into the season, I think we've kind of gotten the hang of the car and hang of where we want it. So I think tonight's race is going to be definitely a good one to watch, and especially with the high bankings here at the 1.5 mile track being 24 degrees in the corner. I mean, it's more like in Atlanta, and high speeds are going to be up there.
Yeah, you got to have a good motor here and gears. They get you down the straightaways and up to the corners. A good motor and gears will help your car if it's not handling that great. So, I mean, setup's still going to be key, but if you got a good motor and gears, your setup can adjust for that.
Yeah, that is definitely the truth. The previous two winners here in the OCRL Nationwide Series is Eric Mickey and Scott Akis. Scott, you won here 2 seasons ago. What's your put on maybe getting back to victory lane here?
Well, you got to have a good car, a good base setup to start out with, and as the track progresses throughout the race, you got to make the right adjustments. I know us. Most of the time, we do a lot with the rear end, tire pressures and track bar and whatnot. Sometimes wedge, but wedge is mostly just to balance out the car. If you have a pretty good wedge adjustment in the setup already, normally you don't really have to touch that, only if necessary. And for grill tape, you just try to put a good amount on there and not overheat the car.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, Stevie, you're more of the gas mileage person and the guy pushing. I mean, you definitely have a setup to get there, but then you're also looking strategy-wise because a lot of these races have come down to where you're pitting inside the 10 laps to go mark. What is your take on tonight's race and how you could get to victory lane?
Well, the way I'm seeing these last races, fuel mileage has been a big factor. So, like I said, the gears, getting those set to where you're fast and not burn up the fuel, you're going to have a good chance. And then pit strategy, I mean, if you can get away with 2 tires and still run good, that's going to be a big help. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot going on right there.
we definitely saw Saturday night the 2 tires. It could play to your advantage, and it also could go the wrong way for you. The track record set here by Eric Jeffers is a 28.447. You think we've got enough speed in the car to put up a better track record?
I, I know my car can't do it, but I've never been that good at qualifying. If I was looking to see someone to beat it, I would look at either Eric or Jesus. That's would be my picks to break that track record.
Well, I think we know that these are the same cars that we use. These nationwide cars are the same cars that we used in our Cup series previously. So we should be close to those lap times, at least in qualifying and race trim. I think that's what you're going to be going off of. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to be that fast on qualifying, but I know a couple of the guys here are going to be really close.
Yeah, definitely. Like Eric Mickey and Jesus Andrade passed you guys. Who you guys looking into tonight's race? Who you guys think is the top gun to maybe break their winless streak or continue their
Well,
win
I'm going to
streaks
have to
this
go
season.
for Jesus, of course. He's been the hottest driver in the OCR lately, so who wouldn't put your money on him?
It's hard to pick or do not pick a Jerem driver because all those guys over there are really good and have good equipment. But I'm actually gonna say either I think I'm actually gonna go with Andrew Mickey. I know that's a long shot, but he's been running pretty good and he normally runs good at tracks like this. So I know that's a long shot there, but I think he's
I
got
think,
what it takes
Scott, I hate to interrupt you, but I think you're just trying to kiss his butt after you guys' feud you guys had a couple weeks ago.
to. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I think we got all that worked out, and I think it should be a good race
Mhm.
tonight between us all.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely the truck series. It showed that I mean it might the strongest truck did win, and Jesus Andrade, and I mean breaking that barrier. I mean he's been doing so well in the truck series, and we've heard over the past few weeks that he's been struggling here in the nationwide series, and I can't say I can't say he's gonna continue to do that. He's got such talent in that car, and I mean JRM is just so strong in the motors, and every time they come here at Charlotte, they always find a way to win. So I mean, you definitely, like you said, Steve, you can't count out Jesus. I'm gonna have to go with I might have to go with Jeff. I think Jeff Baggett Jr. I think he's been more of the I don't know. He's won one race this year at Phoenix, and I just think he hasn't shown that he can be up front, and I think he's just going to prove it here tonight at
That's,
Charlotte.
that's what I was going to say. He hasn't really showed the right out performance like his other teammates with Jason and Jesus. Then, of course, yourself and Eric.
Yeah, I mean, you
He's
definitely
always there in the top five. You can't count him out
yeah,
of a top
yep,
five.
definitely can't count out Jason Gaines, who's been the most dominant driver in the Nationwide Series, has not finished outside the top three, and he's only finished third once this season. So definitely can't count him out. And a surprise driver that everybody might be looking at to maybe pull off his first career win would be Cody McCorkle, who had a very good run Saturday night in the Camping World Truck Series.
Yeah, what about that Mr. McCorkle? Man, I was so impressed with him. And then you had Andrew Mickey just complaining about how hard he was to pass. That's big props right there for that young kid.
Yeah, I definitely see him making his stages through and maybe getting pulling off some wins here, maybe in the lower series to start, and then getting in that Nationwide Series, Sprint Cup Series, and starting winning more.
McCorkle Nation be going wild.
Definitely. All right, we went up to Pittsburgh, and we had our very own Jeff Backey Jr. sit down with Scott Ickes on the action that happened last week where Eric Mickey brought up Scott's name in his interview.
And via satellite, we have Scott Ickes talking to us from his hometown in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. How are you doing this evening, Scott?
Doing pretty good.
Great. Now, you've had a slow start for your team. Your second car, Corey Bunch, they've been pretty good. They started off with a real good run in Daytona. They got the win and then followed that up again in Dover. What's the state of the team as of right now, King Crossover Motorsports?
Oh, I think we're in a good place. I know my team hasn't been producing as good as we would have liked at this point in the season, but Corey's doing good, and that team's running really well. And I mean, I think they're even competing, really for a championship this season. They've been running pretty good. So, for us, we'll get there. But I'm really happy with those guys, and at least if we have one car competing instead of both doing bad, then that's really what matters.
Now, what's it going to take to get Scott Ickes, the driver, back into victory lane? You've gone in the Sprint Cup Series. You've won 11 races or not 11 races in a row, but you've won 10 or 11 races in one season. And since that season, you've kind of fallen off of the map here a little bit. You've a win here or there, but you haven't been in your dominant ways that we've known you to be. What's going on with that?
Well, when we were at Dover a couple weeks ago, when the car was that bad, I don't think I've ever driven anything as bad as that night, and I lost a lot of confidence there in the car and myself. You know, just not being able to save it, and not only that, but keep breaking it throughout the race. That was a really bad weekend. I just wanted to forget about that, and then we went to Chicagoland, and Chicagoland was a little better for us. You know, we ran all right, and we didn't make it on fuel. We had to go pit, so that kind of stuck. It sucked for us there. And now we're going to Charlotte, where I've been really good at, and you know, we'll see what we got in practice tomorrow night. But I think we're gonna do pretty good there.
You mentioned Dover being one of the worst weekends in your racing career. Let's go back to what had happened last Thursday when you entered in the K&N Pro Series event. You got into a little tangle with another driver on the track, which resulted in your suspension from the series for one race. You returned this past week at ORP, or was it the Milwaukee Mile?
ORP and
Yeah, you returned to ORP, and you had another issue with that same exact driver. The officials called you in the trailer, told you to get your stuff up and get off the premises, and you argue a little bit more. They ended up telling you to stay, letting you stay. What is your mindset on that series as a whole, that situation? Just kind of let us know what you think about all that.
I honestly, you know, when we went to practice that night, I didn't mind. You know, I didn't have anything against Andrew. I just wanted to run my own race and try to get back into K&N since I am fourth in the standing. You know, I'm going for a championship there, so I wasn't, you know, even worried about him. And he kept coming out on the track when I was out on the track in my way, and I just I wasn't. I guess you know I was just bumping him down the straightaways, which you know I was trying to push him in the corners and go below him and pass him. But instead, you know, he was real aggressive and he kept staying in front of me. So I guess it was kind of both of our faults there. And, you know, then they called me in and they basically told me that I can stay in the race, but I can't touch Andrew Mickey's car. So I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see, you know, I'll just go to the track this week and see what happens. Hopefully, you know, I run hard with them. I'm not going to try to hit him, but if I hit him during a race, I hit him. If they want to suspend me or whatever, or kick me out of that series, they can go ahead and do it. But you know, for us to not even be able to race on a short track series is kind of pitiful.
And that leads me to my final question to ask you here in this in-depth interview. The physical altercations between you two, looking back at ORP in particular, me being the broadcaster strictly on this end of the deal, I was able to look back and watch the broadcast of the race, and yeah, you made some contact with him, but it was clearly short track racing at its finest, so to speak. When they came out with this series, Eric Mickey and that group came out with this series, you know, we want short track racing, down to earth Saturday night style racing. They get it and they suspend you. Needless to say, there's got to be some sort of rivalry, maybe between you two, your car owner at that. Are there any changes that could go on as you plan on staying there, committing yourself to him throughout the season, and any rivalries and any other series that we should look out for on your part?
Not in the other series. You know, I'm pretty good with everybody else in the other series. But you know, Andrew, yeah, I mean, me and him kind of have a little rivalry going on right now, and you know, with his brother owning the car that I'm running right now, you know, just hasn't really helped me out that much. I mean, we've kind of been our own team over here running the K&N, you know, not really much setup help. So, you know, I mean, we'll see where this goes. You know, for him to be kind of the director of that series and to suspend me in one race and then kick me out of the next race, it's a little crazy. You would think maybe a little leniency or something like that, but you know, I don't know what's going to happen. If he wants to keep me on for the rest of the season, I might run there, but definitely looking for options if anybody has any.
Well, best of luck to you Tuesday night in Charlotte. We wish you the best of luck to get your season back on track. We know you're capable of getting victories and being competitive, and I hope that all turns around for you this Tuesday night.
Thanks.
All right, we're gonna throw it down to pit road. The drivers just came out of the drivers meeting. We've got some interviews to catch up with. Jeff Becky Jr., Jesus Andrade, and Andrew Mickey. Hear what they have to say about tonight's race.
Welcome, race fans. We're down here with the number 7 crew and driver of that car, Jesus Andrade. Jesus, you guys were getting done practicing here. How'd the car feel?
Awesome. Been pretty tight, but number 7 GoDaddy crew has been awesome all practice. Just like we got some minor tweaks we want to do before qualifying, and I think we'll have a pretty good top 5 car tonight.
Now, we know that your team has been a little sluggish here this season. You guys didn't have the greatest run last week. Can you guys turn it around here?
Yeah. Charlotte is not one of my best tracks. Um, we won here 2 nights ago in the Truck Series, but to be honest, Charlotte is not one of my best tracks or my favorite track. Even if I've won on it, I just dislike it. It's just me and this track don't go together. I might have some good stats in here, but I personally do not like this track. But hopefully we could get our season turned around. We're only 40 points back in the championships, and I know we could get it turned around.
Now, we were reading on the OCRL.com, they had come out with an article saying that they may have changes for the fuel and the tires, which would make you guys run a little longer on the fuel and tires than you normally would. What's your take on that? Do you like the fact that we may be switching over and that we'll have more laps to run on the fuel, or what's your take on that?
Yeah, I like more laps on fuel. It really shows you gotta have your you gotta have your setup tuned. I mean, when we had those other tires and fuel, it was just a disaster. It would just be who could get their car faster out of pit road and whoever had the best 10 lap run car. And then just like Eric said on the article, it'll just wait. It's going to be a cycle. You'll be good for 10 laps and then you just fall off really bad. So if it does change, I mean, I'll be a really big fan of it. I was never really a big fan when we switched it over to this bad fuel and tires. So hopefully they change it.
All right, Jesus, thanks for taking the time with us here at Charlotte, and good luck in the race tonight.
Thanks.
Welcome, race fans. We're here in the Media Center. We're doing pre-race interviews, and we're catching up with Jeff Backey Jr. Jeff, we're here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We know this is a hometown track for you, another one for your teammate, and we always know those JRM cars run good here. What do you guys got for us tonight?
Well, I feel like all of our cars are real fast, and my team, and it seems like everybody that we've talked to as far as the competition base, the three JRM cars, and then a couple of other drivers I've spoken with, it seems like everybody's having a tire issue, maybe the tire that Goodyear brought out here. So that's going to really throw in a different strategy for everybody, so to speak. But overall, I think we've got really fast cars. The JRM Technologies engine department's been hitting everything right on the nose this year, and once again, we've got a lot of power, and I feel like we got something from the night, and it's with Jason being as competitive as we are in the points battle, we need a little bit of an edge over that, and 13 points behind him now. We got Corey right on our bumper in a point, so I know for my team we got to get up and go, and hopefully, no offense to Jason, but they don't have as good of a night as they've been going on over there, but if we can finish ahead of him and do what we got to do, I think we got a pretty good car, but won't know until the drop of the green flag.
Now, like you mentioned, the points are really close. We've seen Saturday night that a lot of drivers had engine problems, and at a track like this, you have engine problems and you finish bad, you could really have a bad points night. What do you guys have in the engine? At least you guys think you can make it the rest of the way and have good fuel mileage, or what's all that going on?
Uh, Fuel mileage, I think, is questionable. We're putting out a lot of horsepower, and in return, it takes up a lot more fuel than I think some of the other teams are getting out. We haven't been really good on fuel mileage this year, or really ever. We haven't been known for the fuel mileage races, but I think that if the scenario to line up and we were to start saving fuel early enough, we'd be okay with preserving fuel and getting it down. But I've got faith in everybody, like I said, at Jerem Engines to giving us bulletproof equipment. I don't see any of us blowing any engines early.
All right, Jeff. Thanks for taking the time with us tonight, and good luck in the race.
Thanks.
Coming up in the next weeks, you can tune in to see the K&N Pro Series, which has been a very interesting series. Steve, you've been hot in that series, actually leading the points, doing a really good job with that Ford Mustang.
Yeah, I don't know about hot, but I've been the closer. I can say that
Yep.
much.
You can tune in to watch them at the Glen this week, road course. Steve, how you facing up for that one?
Not my forte, but I'll do the best I can. That's for sure.
All right, and then you can catch the Truck Series Sunday night at ORP. Bet you Jeff's looking forward to that one. Get back on the track.
That would be probably a win for Jeff in my books.
Yep, definitely good in the Truck Series. And next week you can catch us right here on the OCRL Countdown to Green in Talladega, the Bum Drafting Nation. And you can hear it all here on the OCRL Countdown to Green.
See you next week.
Yep.